Of course, as many might think, the very first place in this top is occupied by drug trafficking, since it is the most profitable area of any criminal area. Despite the fact that there are a number of countries where they are trying to regulate drug trafficking, most civilized countries also show persistence in the fight against illegal trafficking. Let's start with the fact that this business has never been registered by anyone, and this is already one of the signs of illegality. The distribution of drugs is also prohibited by law and is strictly suppressed by the authorities. Drug trafficking includes almost any interaction, even with minimal weight and harmless substances. But strict control among the authorities does not stop one of the largest and most profitable areas of criminal business, both for clients and entrepreneurs. Drugs are brought from abroad or produced at home and distributed en masse among buyers. Using drugs, people become more and more accustomed to them and eventually become dependent. This makes it possible to increasingly impose other prohibited drugs on them. Not to say that this is one of the most criminal types of business, but in this case, such activity cannot be regulated by the state in any way, and also have at least some kind of taxation. Perhaps it was this factor that gave these services an illegal status. In European regions, this type of activity is not always punished. In some places, it is even encouraged. Such services are in great demand despite their illegality. This type of business has existed for a very long time. The number of women engaged in prostitution in Europe alone is about 300,000. In the UK, according to data, every 300 women trade, and in the Netherlands, every 35th woman, there are also kept women. But this is a purely personal matter. Huge amounts of money are earned mainly not by performers, but in most cases by their agents and companies. Despite technological progress in determining the authenticity of documents or funds, the progress of the underground business also does not stand still, which is why the sphere of counterfeiting, both documents and currency, has developed. Taking into account the local mentality as well as the active reluctance to pay extra to the state treasury, everyone understands and accepts illegal document flow. A huge amount of taxes goes to nowhere, as everyone tries to find a way not to pay the state for which they falsify documents. If people were sure that the money earned for the state would be spent where it was needed and not squandered, then the answer would be obvious. The activities of illegal document circulation have negative consequences. As for counterfeiting, this type of deception is still relevant because modern technologies still help such people create similar copies of banknotes and sell them through the internet service. Counterfeiting and piracy have long been an undeniable part of our lives. After all, most of the goods in the world are counterfeited. These are clothes, shoes, phones, equipment, and much more. Piracy in the world is very well developed, and probably most of even the films on the internet are illegal fakes. But legislation in this matter cannot completely solve the problem, since it does not have methods of influencing and monitoring illegal internet sites. The same applies to counterfeit products that are not harmful to people. Many people don't see the point in overpaying for the same item or trademark, so they buy fakes for a minimal cost. But in this turn, such companies simply steal the idea of someone else's business and profit. One of the main pathologies of people is the passion for gambling. The passion for the game is embedded somewhere in our instincts, and despite legal restrictions, people still try to play, both in online casinos and in underground ones. The same applies to betting on sporting events, where people expect crazy triumph and victory, but in the end, they leave with empty pockets and again look for money by borrowing or selling some valuable item. There are still quite a lot of such illegal areas, but remember, Not one of these areas will protect you and your loved ones, will not provide stability and peace of mind. Take care of yourself and do only legal things and actions. We condemn illegal areas of activity.